Okay, while this is going, I'm gonna download. I thought I downloaded it yesterday, but I wanted to install Vasari. So if you haven't installed Vasari, can you do it right now? That's the problem. Is I think I ran into a problem because I want to show you. I want to place the windows in such a way that they're best placed for cross ventilation and for daylighting. Okay. And so we're going to use Vasari to do the cross ventilation, and we're going to use Revit rendering in the cloud, which you need 2014 to do the lighting. Okay, so maybe what we'll do is we can come back to that a little later in the day. Okay, and let's just get through the kind of working drawing stuff now. All right, but in the meantime, try to install the software, Vasari. Okay. Okay, so let's start making this. Okay, so Alexa's put the floor in already. I'm just going to do this. She's got a generic 12-inch floor. So let me just click on her floor and say edit type. So we went over this the very first day. What should I do here? Duplicate, right. So underscore skyline, interior floor, right? Or just call it floor because the other one we'll call it deck. Okay, now what? Edit the structure. So we probably can't afford the oak flooring there, Alexis. We could probably do plywood, or I'm thinking plywood for the floors. What do you guys think? Is that ugly? Probably a little ugly. All right, we can keep the oak flooring for now at 1 inch. Let's do, but then we need a subfloor for that, right? We need plywood underneath that. So let's call the oak flooring 3/4 inch. Let's move this up, okay, because it's above the core. And then let's do the, let's insert another layer here and let's make plywood. So I need to click on these 3 dots here to get to the plywood. And the first time you open the material browser, it takes forever. Okay, so you just have to sit there and wait. In the meantime, I'll check on my Vasari. See, it's not installing. If somebody else can install Vasari, I can use your computer. I put a link yesterday on Facebook. Brian, you're a little behind on the Facebook posts, huh? Okay, so type plywood. So I pick plywood sheathing, okay. I set it 3/4 inch, and then I need to pick my structure, which is really just nothing. It's air and some wood. So I don't even know if there's I'll call it wood dimensional lumber. And then the thickness is, I'm thinking we're going to go 2 by 6. So let's do 5.5 inches. And sometimes you dimension to the subfloor, sometimes you dimension to the top of the joist. Let's dimension to the top of the joist. So I'm going to just move the plywood and the flooring above because we may change it just to plywood, so let's keep that the finish, and we'll keep the, do you guys know there's a difference, the stuff with the structure, and so when the guys out in the field or the gals go to lay stuff out, there's no finish there, so they really want the dimensions to the structure, so you can put the joist where it goes and the stud where it goes. Otherwise, if you give them a weird dimension like n 5/8, so the point is you want to make round numbers to the structure because the finish doesn't exist. So we're going to hit OK. We made our little stuff there, and we're going to hit OK. And so now if I look at my view, my floor, Oh, my deck hasn't changed, so we should work on the deck too, but my flooring has changed, but I can't tell. All right, so let's do the roof next, okay? So I'm going to go to the 3D model. I usually often go to the 3D model just to kind of do that. And let's stay on this topic of editing structure, so let's just do everything. Let's do the roof. We're going to go to edit type, duplicate. Edit the structure. We're going to insert a layer above, make it a finished material. Are we talking about doing asphalt shingles here, or what's cheapest, asphalt shingles or metal? Huh? Let's just start with asphalt shingles for now, okay? So I'm going to type here asphalt. Oops, I always do that. I always go too fast. I don't see what comes up. I'm going to type asphalt again. Asphalt shingle. Let's just call that 3/4 inch. What do I need below my asphalt shingles? Huh? Anything? Something, right? What do you think? What would you, whenever in doubt, what's the thing you put? Plywood. Yeah, there you go. So plywood, we probably want to, let's just put 3/4 inch. That might not be the case. It might be 5/8 or something, but put 3/4 inch. And then for the structure, we're going to put the dimensional lumber again. And then I'm gonna just call it 2x8s. That's probably really unrealistic. What do you think, Kevin? 2x8s, 2x10s? 2x10s, yeah. 9.25 inches. What?
Are you talking about for the girders?
Yeah. No, the rafters. Oh. The ones that are 2 feet on centers. 2x8s. Let's try 2x8. We can always make it bigger. Okay, so that looks a little bit better, right? No? Yes? Okay. So, hey, the other thing I was thinking is we probably should put, like, he said wood is okay on the soffits, which is pretty interesting because that's usually not allowed. I really wish this roof could be longer. It looks really weird at 3 feet. It just looks strange. I think
you suggested the post, right? I don't think that would look too weird if you had it on the corner and it went all the way to the edge.
we tried it. I think we tried it in sketch. It looked weird. I mean, we may have to go there. Let's see. I mean, now the span is increased to more like 11 feet, so we could throw a few more inches on this roof. But let's just leave it like this for now.
Or could you do a trellis type thing instead of a full roof?
We could maybe try that. That would be nice. That's something I thought would be nice too. So yeah, let's kind of table that for now. So wait, what were we just talking about? Oh, so if we do T&G, the benefit of, so one thing we could do is we could do the T&G on the top and then put the asphalt over that, in which case we could potentially reduce some of the materials, but then we have rafters coming out, and then we'd have to enclose all the space between the rafters. So I feel like the T&G on the bottom is probably the best way to go. So let's go back to this roof, and I forgot that we need to add a material. So, we need to add a T&G wood here. So I'm going to go here and just say, so what do we call that? Wood, oak flooring, wood birch. We could call it wood birch or something like that. Call it mahogany, I guess. Let's go with birch. And then the T&G stuff can maybe be, again, 3/4 of an inch. So that's going below the structure, okay? And then let's click here. This is something that's worthwhile to do. Under materials, we can do a surface pattern because we want it to show up, okay? So what I did is I look on the right here and I see pattern, I click it, and I look for a pattern, and actually we could just do it diagonal because the beam's going to be diagonal. Do you think that would be a problem for the design? Let's try it out. So diagonal down, small. Let's try this one, okay? Actually, you probably should make this a model. There's two different pattern types, drafting and model. Model actually like has, it stays like the same size. The drafting kind of keeps changing no matter what scale your drawing is. So if you want to represent something with real material, let's just choose model here. And so let's say mine are like, I'll just call it 6-inch parallel. That seems not quite right though. Let's try 3-inch parallel for now. See what happens. And I actually want it on the diagonal though. So what I want to do here is let's just take this guy here, 3-inch parallel. It's a model pattern type. I'm going to hit edit. Sorry, I'm going to hit new. And I'm going to say skyline TG ceiling. And I'm going to do the 45-degree angle, and I'm going to space it at 5.5 inches for a 1x6 material. Okay? Yeah? I'm basically just applying a surface pattern to that material. Okay? And you can also apply a cut pattern. We're not going to go there right now. So let's take a look. So when I look here now, you see my pattern shows up. Yeah? Do you guys see the pattern on the ceiling there? That's 5.5 inches on centers. Yes, Janus. I think, well, it's probably 2 pieces. Yeah. So I need to rotate this because it's not the right way. You see that? Because my beam is going the other way, so I'd probably run my stuff the other way. So let's just see it. Let's edit the type again. Let's go to the structure. Let's go to the birch. Let's go to the material and let's edit it. And what do I change here?
90 maybe?
Not 90, 135. So basically 90 degrees different from where I'm at, yes. So and just keep hitting all the OKs to get all the layers away. Okay, so that's what looks like diagonal. Does that bother you? Do you guys want to go back to the square? Yes? Yeah? Go back to square? Let's try it. I agree. It's kind of funky. So edit, birch, edit, and now I change it to the 90. And I might be wrong. I might want to change this again later to 0. But let's just do a trial by fire here. Okay, which way do we? Well, we got to. Actually, you know what? The problem is if the joists are running this way. I think it works actually because of 45-degree angle. Yeah, because you need to run the decking. You got to run the decking like so that the structure hits it. You know, you don't want to run it parallel to the structure, but our structure is 45-degree angle to this, and so it might be okay. Okay, so that's that. All right. So let's go back to our plan. Oh, let's do the deck. I want to, you know what? I want to leave the deck for a little later. Let's do some working drawing things. So here's my ramp, which I need to size down. And Kevin, we need a turning radius at the landing or no? Kevin, Mona? At the ramp landing, 5 feet. That needs to be 5 feet long, right? So we need to. Can you check real quick? I'm just gonna add another grid line here. Okay, so I'm gonna make the scale a little bigger so at least you guys can see the dimensions on the screen. 72-inch what?
In direction of travel. Landing. Or it turns around.
Okay. So. We gotta extend this landing. I don't really, I think I want to leave the ramp to last. I'm also concerned that I'm also concerned it's getting too big. What, can we shave this down a bit? Is there anything that's driving this?
Can we decide on a 10 foot? Or just
Yeah, I think it needs to really stay to that. It works, right, Mona? 10 foot? But 10-foot interior, not exterior, right? Okay. So let me do one more thing with this floor, on Skyline floor. I realize now that this oak flooring pattern is a 3-inch parallel. I think we would probably do this as a, we would do the same thing, that Skyline TG ceiling, which I should rename, but Skyline TG. So I'm just changing the pattern to be a little bit more wider, okay, Alexis? Okay, so there's my floor, and we can figure out which way it runs. It depends on the structure, okay? So we'll work on that later.
You're putting Michael's name in the proposal?
Yeah. No, I mean as a backup. So one thing I want to do here is let's say I don't want to see this pattern right now, okay? There's a couple ways I can do this. I can make it really light, or I can override it. I'm going to show you both. So right now I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to say override graphics in view by element, or I could also say by category. Let's do by element this time. And then I'm just going to make it, not visible. So that's saying that I'm overriding the graphics. Actually, I want to make the surface pattern invisible, okay, because it's distracting to me. So then I say okay. So then it goes away. Okay, so that's one way I can do it. Another way I can do it is I can type VV, and this is one of your best friends, this screen. VV is Visibility Graphics. You can also type VG. And if you go to floors, then you can look at all these things. So you can override anything. So if I want to override here, what do I want to override? Which pattern? Cut? A projection surface or cut? Yeah, projection surface, because it's the surface that we're seeing. Cut means if you're cutting through the wall, then you get a different pattern. Like if you want to do a diagonal or a poché, that's where you put that stuff under the cut pattern. So here for the color, I'm just going to choose the lightest shade of gray, okay? And then I'm not going to override the pattern, and then I'm going to hit OK. And so now it's really light, and it kind of disappears, okay? So actually, the other thing we should do is size this unit for the joist, for the stud spacing, okay? We don't want to waste any, we want to make it like, if it's 16-inch on center, we're going to like use that, okay? So I'm going to run some reference planes, I think, to deal with this. So I'm going to copy this guy here, and I'm going to bring it here in line with A. And then I'm going to copy that down, and I'm going to copy it down, let's just call it 3.5 inches. And I'm going to copy this down. I just think if we can get it to be 24-inch on center, it's going to work with our sliding door. I think it's going to work better. So let me just try 24-inch on center. We can change it later. So I'm going to take this reference plane here, and I'm going to array it. Okay, my array is this little 4x4 rectangles. And then I'm going to say the number is going to be like, let's say 6. Let's overshoot it. And then I'm going to say move to second, meaning that I'm going to move it from the first position to the second position. My other choice is I can move it from the first position to the last position. So I go like this, and then I just say 2 feet. So that's my reference planes. And then let's just say that those reference planes need to have some thickness to them. So let me just copy those guys down. And I just bring it down, and then I start typing 3.5 inches. So that's either side of, oops, sorry, it should go down 1.5 inches because the 2x is 1.5 inches. So I come down and I go 1.5 inches. So that's either side of my stud, okay? Those are the reference planes. Got that? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start aligning my stuff with this. I'm going to delete this guy here. So she's got this set up as an array. I think I'm just going to, I'm going to just break the array, okay? Just for fun. And delete this one there. And then I'm going to just use the align tool. AL. And I'm going to save this. I'm going to save this. I just saved over Mona, Alexis's though. Alexis, I just saved over yours. Do you have a? Why don't you save a copy before it travels over? Do you care? No. Well, I need to save this. Okay, let me save it as something in the right place anyway. So it should really go into revamp the camp. We should have something called design. Design, yeah. Designs. The idea is we try to get a set of working drawings done before we start, okay? So Skyline R14, I always put the Revit thing in there because you can't open Revit 14 and Revit 13, and so it's helpful to have that there, okay? And then I usually number them, and then I have V1, V2, and then I go all the way up, who knows? And then I have A, B, and C. And anyways, I save very frequently. So the thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my align tool. So I type AL, and then I click the first thing I want to align to, and then I choose center faces of core, and then I choose what I want to align to it, okay? And I could lock that, and if I lock it, when I move the reference plane, it will move the stud, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and align all these. And if you want, you can always open up my file, copy a version, you know, as we go along too. If you get lost, if you're following along and you get lost, you can always pick up. Okay, so what I would love to do here is I would like to shrink this building by that much, because why do I, you know what I mean? Because that's kind of a bit of a waste, right? Like to have a half base stud there. So let's just, let's take all this stuff here. And then I'm going to hold control and I'm going shift and I'm going to subtract these guys because I want to leave those guys in place. And then I'm just going to move this to here. Okay. Let's actually, I think I forgot to look at the wall type thing. So let's fix the wall type before we continue the studs all the way around, okay? So let's click on our wall type and let's say edit type, duplicate, skyline, wall, edit, 3.5 inches. What do I need to put here? How thick is that knotty pine stuff, Brian?
How thick?
Mm-hmm.
Material?
Yeah. Is it 3/4 inch, 5/8? 5/8?
Yeah, about 5/8.
5/8? Okay. So they don't have all the woods here, so you just pick something. We'll just pick birch again, okay? Oh, the problem is, see what I did here? This is the bad thing I did. I edited this material, right? But I didn't duplicate it. So now I'm just going to duplicate it now. Duplicate selected material. So here's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to change this previous one to underscore skyline birch, okay? And then I'm going to change the new one, I mean the one that I have, the new one I made to wood birch, and then I'm going to just, oops, I'm just going to name this correctly, and then I'm going to just get rid of this pattern. Okay, so that's kind of back to where it was, I think. And then skyline birch. So now, yeah, so now we want to pick that birch again, right? So again, I'm gonna just type wood. And I'll go with wood birch. I'll just use it as is, so I won't duplicate it because I'm not making changes to the default. So I'll hit OK. I'll make that 5/8 on the interior, and I'll make it on the, see, this is the exterior side, this is the interior side, so I've got this wrong. So I'm going to switch this spot down, I'm going to switch this up. So on the exterior, I don't know, what are we leaning towards here? T111, Hardy board, those are the cheapest. Cedar, dimensional cedar. Hardy board, want to go with hardy board? Let's do that for now. And by the way, I should have been changing this to finish. I think I forgot to do that on some of the other ones, okay? Looks like wood siding, but it's a little fakey. I don't think it's one of these choices. James,
Is
it's what I have on my house. Maintenance free. Huh?
yeah, I saw that stuff at Home Depot.
You don't love it, right? No?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
I saw that one on the left there. That's kind of like, yeah, that's what they had at Home Depot.
It's definitely a strong contender. What do you think about the shakes? No? No? That's also the same material, but they have different patterns. Yeah, I agree. Do you want to go with the T111? You want to go Core 10?
Core 10? Ooh la la.
Well, that's the thing that I was hoping you guys would do is some photoshopping with the materials. Let's just throw something on there for now, okay? Let's just call it wood siding. That's what we want. That's what we can afford. Wood planks? Let's go with wood planks for now. All right, let's make it 3/4 inch. And I think we need some, I don't know, we probably need some paper and plywood. I don't know if we need the plywood. We could just use paper. Okay, let's leave it like this for now, because hopefully we can get away without the extra layer of plywood. Do we need it for lateral? Yeah, we might need it. Oh, but we have the birch on the inside. Yeah? Okay, anyways, which is, so let's hit OK. Okay, so now you guys see my stuff is showing up. The layers are showing up. I think I made a little bit of a mistake here.
What is this? Do you think, what is this? Reclaim? It looks like you can find out.
Okay, so some reason that didn't show up. The interior finish did not show up. Do you see that? There should be a line on the inside here. Let's change this wall too to skyline wall. Even if they were flipped the wrong way, which there should be two lines, one on the inside and one on the outside. So let's just select all these and first change them all. So to select all the walls, you just click one wall and hit tab, and then that selects the entire chain of walls. I'm not sure why the interior layer is not showing. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Let's figure that out later. Anyone know what could possibly be wrong with my wall type? Very weird. Okay, well, anyways, there should be two thin lines showing up, okay? But the measurement is 4 7/8, so that's correct. So it's correct, it's just not showing quite correctly. And by the way, oh, here it is, okay. So when I went to find it shows up under coarse, I guess it just showed one layer. So we want to be on fine, because we're doing a really small building, so we want fine, meticulous detail. Coarse is for bigger things where you're more zoomed out. So your things here are, let's ungroup them, okay? And let's change them to 2x4s. So dimensional lumber, oh, you did them as columns, I see, okay. So let's do some, this is a cool trick. Let's just go here and select everything. Then use this filter tool. This is like your next best friend, which is structural columns. And then you can check what you don't want. So we're just, I selected everything, but now I'm only selecting the columns. And I want to get rid of these 4 columns on the back outside, so I'm just going to window take those off. I accidentally took off some of the 2x6s too. But now that I have things selected, I'm going to change this from 2x6 to 2x4. So do you guys see how that didn't work? Let me see, why didn't that work? Okay, now I change this to a 2x4. Okay, so what I'm going to do now that I have my structure here, I'm going to align my grid line to this, okay? So I'm going to use this edge of the structure to align my grid line. Okay, and then now I got to get my 2x4s to fit inside my wall. So I'm going to click this 2x6 and I'm going to ungroup it from the set. I think that's why it wouldn't let me change it. Change it manually to a 2x4. And then I'm going to align it to this wall. So now it's fitting there. Okay?
Are we still on board for July 1st as the removal date?
Let's try July 15th.
And would it be as, just as, what am I going to say, a single truck, like independent company? Like we're not moving it basically? Like third party?
I don't know. I was thinking we would move it, but do we need to say that?
No, just that they
We just
did
need to
ask
say
for
that
the
it's getting
transportation
moved.
method, though.
I don't know. Let's just, let's say for transportation. By the way, I'm just trying to get these to become 2x4s and I'm getting them in the wall, okay? Any questions with that? Lida, I think we should say that they will be moved with a truck. Is that okay?
Yeah.
It's kind of vague. So I have to manually change all these to 2x4s, and then I have to manually align them. And then I'm going to manually put this column in. But I'm going to change this column to a 4x4. So it's not here, so I'm going to say go to architecture, I'm going to go to component. We talked about this the other day. I'm going to say load family. Okay, what happens is it pulls up the U.S. Imperial Library, which it comes with your program. And then you go to structural framing. I guess you could go to structural columns. But I usually go to structural framing. Did you use columns? Let's try wood. I've never used the columns. Let's try wood timber column. And cannot be loaded. Which one? This one? I think I just tried that one. No? Didn't work. Let's try dimensional lumber. So it doesn't go up to the what? Okay, so we're going to grab the 4x4 now. The good thing about this is if we do it correctly, we can get the weight of our building, okay? So that's why if we put everything in the model, we can generate schedules and we can weigh this thing and we can, you know, figure all this stuff out. So I'm going to overwrite the existing one. Oh, it already had this. Does not like that. Let me try one more try here. All right, I don't know. It doesn't like that. So let me just try to change this with the. I'm just going to go with this. Oh, dimensional lumber column, but it doesn't have. Am I doing something wrong, Alexis?
No, when I had to bring in the 2x3, 2x4, I had to do them separately, so I don't know.
But you went to structural columns, not structural framing, right? And you went to wood, right? And then which one did you choose? Timber? Yeah, but I don't think that's going to be the case for 4x4. Let's try it. Yeah, they don't have a 4x4 because that's considered dimensional lumber. Let's try that again. Wood, dimensional lumber. Four by four. Cannot load it. All right, we're gonna just fake it, and this is very unfortunate because the whole benefit of using the correct one is we can get the right density and the weight. So let's just, for now, so we can move on. Let's just choose. Let's choose 2x4, okay, and then let's hit Edit Type, and then we'll just duplicate this and make it. I'm going to make it a 4x4. So I just changed the dimensions to be 4x4. And then my area is probably, I'm not sure what A is, but I should probably change that. Do you know, Kevin, by chance? It is a cross section, right? So it should be 0.08. Let's just change it to 0.08. 4x4? I just doubled the previous one. But I don't, you know. Okay, so then this guy's is now, we're going to click on this and we're going to change it to a skyline 4x4 and we're going to align it with this reference line and align it with this grid line, okay? And then the next thing I want to do is I want to align this reference line here with this core, okay? So all my stuff is lining up the way I would build it.
Are we gonna have a generator or just run power from the grid?
We'll just run power from, we don't need a generator. Yeah. Okay. Any questions so far? So we're going to add the rest of the studs, yes? Really, Janice? It's on. I'm about as anal as they come when it comes to drawings. Huh? I just fixed it. Yeah, it was off. Yeah, I fixed it. Don't worry, I'm on it. So architecture, let's do the reference planes for this other side. So I'm going to steal this grid, but thank you, Janice. That's good. You got a that's a good sign there. Yeah, I know those things drive me crazy. So I am going to copy this 3.5 inches over, okay, to get the other side of the wall. Then I'm going to copy. What am I going to do with this, guys? Hooray! Yeah. Then we're going to erase 6 of these guys, and we're going to go first to second, and we're going to do 2 feet. Then we're going to select them all, And then what are we gonna do now? Copy it 1.5 inch. Yeah, and it goes to the left. So we're gonna copy this 1.5 inches. So you guys are gonna all be doing this for your designs, whichever designs you're developing for the Revit class, okay? So you can either all join in and help. You can do your own designs. You know, we should probably square that away at the end. But I mean, the truth is, the more designs we get working drawings or close to working drawings for, the happier Lance will be. So if Revo, you guys, you want to go for it, I say you go for it. You got Alexis, so you'll be in good shape. Okay, so let's do the same thing over here. So one thing you got to be really careful about is you can easily mess your model up by moving stuff, which I just did. You probably didn't even catch it. I just moved the floor. So take your stuff that you care about and pin it, okay? My floor is now pinned. All right, now I'm gonna do these studs.
Should I say that construction will only be carried out during daylight?
No,
Should
I
I
don't
say
think you should.
construction will only be carried out in their appropriate lighting?
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna copy this column here. I'm gonna copy it up to the other corner. Okay, I'm going to I got way too many lines on. I'm gonna hide this. So this is a very important tool, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna take my railing and my ramp and all this junk, and I'm gonna hide it. I'm just not dealing with that today. Okay, I'm gonna take my stairs and all this stuff, and I'm gonna hide it. Because it's just, my drawing's just getting messy, and I want to just focus on the overall size of the project, okay? So, and my reference planes, I want to make sure those are right on. So this guy, this wall actually needs to go way up here to the other side of this reference plane. Okay, so I'm gonna just delete all these other guys because they're all wrong, and it's so much slower to move them individually. It's so much faster just to get one right and then array it. So I'm gonna kick my one guy, I'm gonna ungroup it from my array. I'm gonna select it. I'm gonna ungroup it again, and then I'm gonna select it, and then I'm going to change it to a 2x4, and then I'm gonna align that sucker. Okay, in both dimensions. Okay, that's where it needs to go. My column is also not in the right place. This is delete. That's a 6x6. What happened to my 4x? This guy's not. Oh, there he is. There he is. I know I'm probably losing. Am I losing you all? I'm just getting all the studs in place, okay? And you know what? Normally you wouldn't be doing this. For your projects that you're doing, you wouldn't be doing all the framing, okay? But it's good that you're doing it in this class, right? Because you got to understand that stuff. But when you do this stuff normally, you don't get to this level of detail. It's just we need to for our project, right? Because we got to, you know, build all these walls. Something's wrong with my wall. This does not appear to be 3.5 inches away. Yep. Okay. So this reference plane right here, is in the wrong place, and this grid line. So I'm just going to click on it. This is a good trick also. When you want to move something at a specific distance, you click on it, and then these dimensions automatically show up. And then you could say, I want that dimension off of this guy, and I want it to be 3.5 inches. And then it will put it in it'll just move it to the correct place. So I will do that again on another example here. So now I have this correct. And I got to align my my grid line correctly as well too, okay? Okay, Jana's, my corner look okay? Huh? All right. Okay, so sometimes I just turn on thin lines and thin lines and just save. All right, okay, so now what do I do? Array. Array. 5 of them. 2 feet apart. Okay, there's my studs. Oops, I needed a 6th one. Okay? So again, my wall's looking okay. I'm gonna, what do I need to do now? Huh? I'm gonna leave my reference planes for now, but yeah, I should delete those. There's way too many. Yes. Let's get the left and the bottom wall set. So I want to delete this column here and this 2x6. And let's just copy these. I'm going to copy these suckers down from here to this reference plane. I'm going too fast.
We agreed on that.
It's either this or we would have just gotten this far all day. Okay, so this gives us a design input. We may want to move this, we may want to resize this door. I don't know. Can somebody look up the sizes of sliding doors at Home Depot and Lowe's, please? Brian, you're our Home Depot guy. Can you check that? And we also need something over here too. So we need to re-look at that wall. And then, so basically we're using the framing here to help decide where the doors and windows should go. Does that make sense? So that we don't have to have all this different size spacing. So now I'm going to do the same thing on the left side. And I don't know where this bed came from. I'm just going to hide this. I'm just going to hide the category. And I'm gonna override this. I'm gonna override this surface pattern after all because it's bothering me right now while I'm working. And then I'm gonna copy these. I'm gonna copy all this stuff, except for the wall. So how do I get? I just selected everything there. How do I get rid of the wall? Your best friend, filter. Get rid of the walls, okay? Then I can just copy this from, and I gotta zoom way in here because I want to make sure I'm getting this. And then I want to go to this reference plane. Okay, you guys, I want all my spacing to be kind of, oh shoot, my spacing here doesn't, okay, I need to move those. I'm gonna undo that, sorry, I messed up. I should have moved this wall first to be in the correct space. So now I'm gonna move this wall here. Now I'm gonna copy the stuff. I'm going to remove my wall again. And then I'm going to copy from here. After we finish this, we'll take a break and we'll answer your questions and we'll stop the recording. I'm moving my studs there. Okay, so that door is falling in a nice space there in terms of our base spacing. This window is okay. It's actually not bad. Look at that, you guys. Who did that? Huh? So that worked out well. This one we'll have to fix. I think this window needs to become, this sliding door needs to become smaller, or at least needs to move over. So I'm hoping to keep this guy here, but we'll see. We have 2 questions. We have the egress question. We have natural ventilation and a daylighting question, which we hopefully will do today because that affects the design. And then we have the Home Depot availability question. Okay, so I have all my things. I'm going to keep on refining this. Let's take a quick breather to answer your questions, okay? Ina, password, do you want to put it in? Save every 10-15 minutes and then do a lot of save as's too. Don't just save over. Okay, so it's stopped. Should we stop it? Let's just stop it. Emily, can you help stop and save this?